Janesville. Welcome to Park Place Views, brought to you by the City of Janesville and JATVMedia Services. I'm Molly Nolte, and I'm the Management Information Specialist in the City Manager's Office. This monthly program aims to keep Janesville residents informed by highlighting the people, places, events, and partners in the City of Janesville. On last month's episode, we talked with City Assessor Michelle Lobby about a day in the life of the City Assessor and the 2019 revaluation. If you're interested in viewing past episodes of Park Place Views, they're available to watch on the city's website or JATV's YouTube channel. On this month's episode, we'll be speaking with Janesville Innovation Center Operations Manager Mike Mathews about the Innovation Center's mission and services and what's new at the Innovation Center. Mike has been the Operations Manager of the Innovation Center since 2013. He holds a bachelor's degree in political science from UW-La Crosse and a master's degree in urban and regional planning, as well as an executive MBA, both from UW-Madison. Mike has 30 years of business experience in economic and community development, strategic planning, business consulting, business development, community relations, marketing, and public and private finance. Thanks for being here today, Mike.
Thank you, Molly.
Among all those accolades, is there anything else you can tell us about yourself?
Just that I'm fortunate. I'm very fortunate, and I appreciate the chance to be working with the city and all the partners in the Innovation Center. It's been a great project.
Great, well, thank you. We haven't had you on the show in quite a while. It's been a little over a year, I think. So why don't you give the viewers some background about the Janesville Innovation Center and how long it's been open?
Okay. So in 2011, the city had received a grant from the Economic Development Administration from the U.S. government to build a facility, an incubator facility on city-owned land located at Beloit Avenue and Venture Drive. And that grant was for about $1.2 million. And the city pledged another $800,000 plus at that time to build a facility that would incubate businesses. And the facility opened in April of 2013. So we're just past our 5-year mark, and we've seen some really good progress that was certainly in line with the desires and the focus of the grant itself.
Great. Well, essentially, the Innovation Center provides space for startup businesses. Can you talk about square footage and what kind of businesses the Innovation Center is equipped for?
Sure. So the facility is 22,000 square feet total. 18,000 of that is manufacturing space. So we have 3 manufacturing bays that run between 3,800 and 4,200 square feet. And then we had a large 5,400 square foot bay that we decided to subdivide 3 years ago now. That would allow companies to have a combination of an office and warehouse, production, shipping and receiving area available in the same building. We have 9 offices that range from roughly a couple hundred square feet up to 325 square feet. Each one of those offices is equipped with furniture. It has filing cabinets, chair. We have voice over IP for phone and internet. So a company can come in and really be ready to go. It's a turnkey kind of operation. In addition, we have common area that's shared by everybody in the building. So there's a shared conference room, there's a break room with a kitchen area. So when you're working those long hours at the end of a day or early into the next day, you have some creature comforts. Wonderful.
Well, in addition to those resources, can you think of anything else that the Innovation Center can offer their tenants?
So, good point. We have obviously the real estate piece of it that's available to our tenants, but we really wanted it to be more than just real estate, just office space, just manufacturing space. We wanted this to be a facility where people could come with an idea and that we would be able to help them in progressing that idea through the building and the space, but also working with them on business assistance and technical assistance. So one of the things that we do is we provide services for an assessment of the business. We use a tool called Growth Wheel. It's an assessment tool that looks at 20 different aspects of the business, and it's an opportunity for them to talk through where they're at in each one of these categories and what are the challenges and what are some of the successes that they've had in each of these areas. And at the end of that assessment, we're then able to go back and and just make the point that you really can't do 20 things at once, but you might be able to focus on 3 of these things. So what are the 3 things that we want to emphasize over the next quarter, and then we'll work with them to find the most appropriate resources. So whether that be marketing, finance, web development, whether it's defining their customer segment, there are a number of areas that we can work with them and then provide resources that would be appropriate for the things that they've identified.
That's amazing. It sounds really full circle for startup businesses and businesses that are just getting their foot in the door.
It makes a big difference. I should just add that we have a loan program that we have available to our tenants as well. So it's not a large amount of money, but it's a 50-50 match up to $1,000 for businesses that are trying to refine some part of their business plan or efficiencies. Some tenants have used it for inventory purchases. It might go towards some equipment. It might be towards QuickBooks, just for accounting software, to allow them to be able to put together financing for the business as they progress.
Right. Well, like you just mentioned, we all know that everything costs money. So can you talk to us about the Innovation Center's funding and how these small businesses grow within the Innovation Center?
Sure. So I mentioned earlier that the EDA was a big source of funding, as well as the City of Janesville. The city provided a lot of the startup capital for the facility itself, and then also the initial operations of the property. Over time, our tenant rents have gotten to a point where we have, over the last 2 years now, have not required any city funding.
That's great.
The tenant rents has made a difference. We also have had a number of contributors to the project. So Alliant Energy has been a contributor. The Janesville Foundation has been very important to us in terms of some of the build out and the tenant improvements that we've been able to make to the building. The Janesville Art League is another partner in what we do. I just had a meeting this morning and we had some people in and they said, this is just a great facility and great artwork. Where did all this come from? And I explained that we have this relationship with the Art League, and we both emphasize creativity and innovation in our work. And so that's the commonality, but they have done a wonderful job of creating this art installation in the common areas of the incubator, which it makes it a nice place to come to each day.
Yeah. So who is currently renting space at the Innovation Center, and can you tell us about what kind of business that they do?
Sure. We have 5 businesses currently in the space, and we have 2 companies that I can talk a little bit about that have just recently graduated as well. But we have DLG Naturals. They actually work with botanical products that originate in the southern part of Africa. They have a manufacturing facility where they process their product in Botswana. It comes in drums to the U.S. and it lands in Janesville, and it's all processed, and then it goes out to their customers who are in primarily cosmetics businesses. So their oils might find their way into soaps, shampoos, conditioners, skin lotions, and that's a business that's really pivoted since they've been at the Innovation Center. We have another company called Tandem Lock. They design lift systems, so they do the engineering and design for lift systems, from everything from cargo containers to smaller pieces of equipment. Copper Fire Teas is another business that has been with us, and they have a manufacturing suite and have moved a couple times in their two plus years with us, and each time taking a little more space. And they've done an amazing job of building capacity. So they are able to do silk screening, embroidery, laser engraving, so any number of promotional types of products. And so they're a tenant with us. And then we have another company called Simply Solutions. And Simply Solutions, for those who haven't heard about them, have just an amazing mix of products and markets that they serve. One of them is into the consumer products. It's a personal lubricant called Simply Slick. They have another product which is a chapstick equivalent, lip product. moisturizer, and then they have also developed tinctures. So they have a number of products that sell into that consumer market stream that are all natural products and good products for use. The other product that they've developed is a fog solution. It's a non-toxic, all-natural product. So for those who are doing fire training, any type of emergency training where they simulate the smoke, this product is a natural replacement for the products that preceded it. And so the Chicago Fire Department, the Milwaukee Fire Department have already bought into it. The Navy, we have other metropolitan areas that have indicated that they're looking to purchase the product as well. So not to be stopped there, they developed a fog machine as well. So there's actually equipment that they've been building, and they had a number of advance orders on those machines, and the design is complete, has been patented, and the patents have been applied for, and they are now today just busily putting everything together and shipping those units out the door. So an exciting group of products that they're working on, and they're actually looking to raise equity capital to grow the business further.
Excellent. Well, those all sound like success stories. Do you have any other success stories you can share as the Janesville Innovation Center manager?
Well, I'm happy to report that we've had a couple graduations recently. One of them was the graduation of N1, Critical Technologies. So N1 came to us about 2.5 years ago. Nate Ellsworth was the founder of the business, and he had a business partner that was going to be working with him on a part-time basis. They took one office. Over the next 2 years, they grew across 6 offices, 2 of our manufacturing suites. They grew to, I think they had 12 people when they left. They subsequently bought the old Red Cross building at 211 Parker Street, and went in and gutted it and redid the whole building. And if people haven't had a chance to see it, it's an amazing space. And they're looking to hire additional people. They look to be somewhere between 20 and 30 employees over the next couple of years. So that's been a really nice project for the city. And again, it was an intention of what we were trying to do originally, which was to help local entrepreneurs get businesses started. Nate actually had worked for a couple of businesses in the Madison area in a similar type of industry, and had gained a lot of experience, and he wanted to create a company, and he wanted to do it in Janesville. So they've been able to do that, and if we look at the downtown area, a lot of good things happening there as well. So N1's been a nice success story, and then another one was K4 Innovations, and K4 was with us for 3 years. Chad had started his business in his home, and the business pivoted in the time that he was with us. We connected him to some resources that I think were beneficial to him, and he had his most profitable year last year, and was ready to move out, and has moved the operation to Edgerton now. So we're happy for the companies that come in and grow and succeed and take on new space and continue their growth in the community.
Can you describe the entrepreneurial impact the Janesville Innovation Center has had in the city of Janesville?
Yeah, good question. So, you know, one of the measures obviously is jobs, and people are interested in that. And as I mentioned, N1 has been creating a lot of jobs. We had an earlier tenant of the Innovation Center that has gone on and done some things here in the community as well, and has continued to grow in Rock County. So there are a number of job results that have come out of the project. But I think one of the things that's been really beneficial is that we've been able to work with companies and entrepreneurs to help them identify what's their best path to success and what are those obstacles that might stand in their way, and helping them mitigate that path so that they can be successful. So we've introduced resources including the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater has their Wisconsin Innovation Service Center. We have worked with companies getting them up to the WEDC for certifications, for loans. Wisconsin Women's Business Initiative Corporation, WIBIC, has provided loans to a couple of our companies. So there have been a number of things that we've been able to provide that allow them to grow. So I think that when we look at the jobs, that's an important outgrowth, but some of the fundamental blocking and tackling, if you will, has been really important as well. Getting companies access to capital. A lot of them have a passionate entrepreneur, they have a good product, but they don't necessarily have everything that they need in place to get commercial bank financing. So one of the things that we do is try to work with them to get those finances put together in an order that allows them to go to a bank or go to the WEDC or to WIBIC and present their case and talk about, these are our sources and uses of capital. Here's what we want to do next. Here's how we're going to be able to pay this loan back. So that's been really been beneficial as well.
If someone was interested in starting an entrepreneurship or it had an entrepreneurial spirit, what kind of advice would you give them, or where would you tell them to start?
Well, I would certainly encourage them to give us a call. We are meeting with entrepreneurs on an ongoing basis, not only through the Janesville Innovation Center, but there's also a sister program, if you will. It's the Rock County Entrepreneurial Business Development Program. This is a program that provides technical assistance to businesses outside of the Innovation Center as well as inside the Innovation Center. When we first started, we were limited in what we could do in terms of technical assistance. In 2016, we applied for a grant to the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, which we received, and that was matched by local cash grants from a number of banks and law firms. The county and other organizations stepped up to support that effort. And so now we have a program that allows us to serve entrepreneurs and people with ideas across the county. So through that program, we certainly can meet and talk about what they want to do, what their dreams are, how far they are on their plans, and maybe how we can sequence things to allow them to grow that business. So to reach out to us would be certainly one start. And if we're not the most appropriate resource, we can certainly point them to other resources as well.
Sure. That's great advice. So do you see the Janesville Innovation Center expanding in the future?
Another great question. So we have been working as a board. Our oversight is the Janesville Innovation Inc. Board of Directors. It's a 15-member board of directors, terrific group of folks. And one of the things that we've talked about is now that we have accomplished a full occupancy, what does that look like for companies that want to move out of the Innovation Center? And the reality is that as we look across the region, there really aren't a lot of newer, smaller spaces that would be logical next steps for these companies. And so the city actually owns property across the road from the Innovation Center. There is some acreage that we've looked at for phased development that would serve the needs of small growing companies, and not only those that are graduating out of the Innovation Center, but those that might be coming into the community as well. And by providing additional space that's really geared towards that next stage of growth, so it'd be a larger version of the types of spaces that you might find in the Innovation Center, but some of the similar types of amenities. So we're calling it Janesville Innovation 2. That's our working title, and so we're working towards the possibility of progressing that initiative in 2019.
Very interesting. So as businesses grow and then outgrow their rented space at the Innovation Center, and you just kind of touched on this, they'll need to find a bigger space. So you've had those recent graduates that you mentioned. So can you talk a little bit about the vacancies that you have right now at the Innovation Center?
Yeah, so the good news is we've graduated some tenants out, and the other good news is we now have space to bring new tenants into the building. So we currently have 6 offices, and those offices typically range between 200 and 325 square feet. So they're smaller offices, but again, they have desks, phones, internet. The one thing that I would also mention is that we've just increased our bandwidth for our phone and internet systems. So we just went to 250 megabit, which is a pretty sizable capacity. So for somebody who's data sensitive or data heavy in their use, that's an important amenity, and we want to be able to provide that to our companies. So we have the 6 offices, and then we also have 1 manufacturing suite that is roughly 1,400 square feet. So that has a common loading dock. So again, if somebody is needing 2 spaces under 1 roof, 1 area for shipping, receiving, assembly type work, machining, that we have space to do that. And then we have another area that is more suitable for sales and administration, professional types of uses.
Great. So if someone was starting up and they were interested in the Janesville Innovation Center, what should they do?
Well, one of the things that they can do is go to our website. That's janesvilleinnovation.com, and certainly take a look at our site. We have a floor plan. We have a schedule of the leases, or I'm sorry, the suites that are available with pricing. I would also mention that we have some of our, we have an entrance criteria, and so we typically will look at those companies that are in the manufacturing, professional technical services, as well as information technology. Those are typically the types of companies that we are able to add the most value to. We're not really set up for retail or kind of professional sales offices. Those are, we have other places in the community where those types of businesses have space available. So by looking at the current information on what we have available, looking at our tenants and our entrance criteria, that's certainly a starting point. And then the other I guess encouragement I would offer is give me a call, 608-206-7121.
Wonderful. Well, we're just about out of time, so do you have any other closing thoughts or advice for viewers at home?
The only thing I would say is that when we started this project 5 years ago, a little over 5 years ago, I think there was a healthy amount of skepticism about how successful we could be with entrepreneurship in Janesville and in Rock County. And some of the folks that I talked to early on said, you know, we have a long tradition of entrepreneurship. We have some very successful companies that have had their start here, and some of them are, many of them are still going. Some of them have ceased their operations, but we have an entrepreneurial spirit here that is in our history, and I want people to understand that we have some really good things happening in this community, and entrepreneurship is driving a good part of that. And we're doing some interesting things at the Innovation Center, and I hope to continue to report on our successes. And I'd also point to the downtown, and I would say that if we look at some of the technology companies, Foremost Media, Shine Medical, N1 Critical, that these are businesses that are growing, that they employ young professionals. You're bringing people into the downtown for a workplace. A lot of them are going and they're buying homes in the downtown area, and they're putting the sweat equity, and they're rebuilding on the private side, which goes alongside all the public investment that's gone into the downtown, and just some tremendous upgrades and improvements to our common areas in the downtown area. So this combination of the public and private working together, I think there's a lot of evidence that it's been successful and will continue to be successful in Janesville.
Well, thank you, Mike, so much for joining us here today and talking to us about the Janesville Innovation Center. And thank you, viewers at home, for tuning in. Next month, we'll be celebrating the 50th episode of Park Place Views by highlighting the great progress made in Janesville by touring the downtown with Paul Woodard and his team from the City of Janesville Public Works Department. In addition to tuning into this program on a monthly basis, stay connected to the City of Janesville by following us on Facebook or Twitter. You can also sign up to receive emails with our press releases and other important information. And you can subscribe to get emergency alerts from the Janesville Police Department on Nixle. For Park Place Views and the City of Janesville, I'm Molly Nolte. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.